Moving on with the Beast Fighter set, we now have Karate Bearfighter from 1975. Sonny Chiba stars again as Oyama. And this time around, as in with most of these kind of movies, it feels a little bit lesser than the first one. Where the first one had a kind of somewhat solid footing in what felt like mostly reality, this one feels a little bit more haphazard, a little bit more slapped together, a little bit more poetic license, I would say, taking it in this one. But first, let's answer the most important question here. The one I know you're dying to know, because I was dying to know going into it, is called Karate Bearfighter. But does Oyama fight a bear in this one? Yeah, he does. Thankfully, it gets a little bit later on in the movie. But we'll talk about that later on. In this one here, we have Oyama playing a kind of wandering Ronin who's struggling to find a home. He's been kind of outcast after the exploits of Karate Bullfighter. He is just making a living, trying to eke by, just wander the earth and try to stay out of everybody's way. Of course, there are always people that's going to antagonise him and end up at the, end of his fist, which is what you get here. But for the most part, we have kind of Oyama just trying to settle down a little bit. He meets someone whom he has, a family who he has kind of manipulated a little bit by beating up the father, injuring him, and having to take his place to provide for the wife and kind of look out for the young son, creating a kind of bond there as well. And I'd say, for the most part in this one, it gets by on the charm of Chiba. I think he kind of owns this character. He knows exactly what he's doing. He can almost do it with his eyes shut and gets very close to doing that at certain points. But it's the action fight sequences that really bring me back to this one. I mean, it opens up with an absolutely stunning fight and some interesting use of various kind of conceits to create a rather unique fight sequence, like the moment where he breaks someone's arm. And it kind of keeps doing this with fight sequences where it kind of reinvents a little bit, changes it up a little bit, adds something new, and it's always giving us these characters who are deserving of a good beating up, and Oyama is always there to kind of help a hand for that. But this one felt a little bit more frivolous in the storytelling. It didn't really have a strong narrative. We were to follow this character almost as he just has these little adventures all the way through it. Doesn't seem to be a grand narrative in this one, something that he's fighting against. Sure, there's bad guys, there's some familiar faces show up, but it just feels episodic almost as he just kind of moves through this world. Now, when it gets to that bear fight at the end, and I was waiting patiently for this, wondering when it was going to happen, it is rather different than I expected. It's an almost cage match as they are fenced in. They release a bear to fight against us, and this is again to prove his mettle. But this time around, it's a man in a suit, which adds a little bit of fun to what's going on here. I suppose it makes it a little bit more silly, but they have this kind of way of filming that creates an energy to it that doesn't linger too long on the man in the suit, so it doesn't feel out of place completely. It doesn't stand out as being completely fake, although it is. But they do enough with a creative kind of style to make it interesting enough. I don't know if I would have went any further in this series. If there was more adventures of Oyama, I don't know if this sticks to the tales of this man, or after the exploits that we saw in the first movie, if they became more fragmented and more fantastical as they went on, like the bear fight, he's fought one animal, what did he fight next? Let's throw in something that's a little bit more dangerous. It just feels, fun. Fine. Not as good as Karate Bullfighter, which I preferred. This one is just a little bit of a step down, but still enjoyable. Probably best that we kind of stopped here, to be fair. But yeah, another one I'm really glad to have checked out. Let's dive in to the disc for Karate Bearfighter and see the extras. Here we are in the disc for Karate Bearfighter. We have the film with original Japanese mono audio. We have an audio commentary by Mike Leader and Arn Vinama. And of course, the original theatrical trailer. That's the extras for Karate Bearfighter. There we have it. Karate Bearfighter is out now. Pick it up if you dare. Shani Chiba, why wouldn't you want more of that in your life? Let me know your thoughts on Karate Bearfighter in the comment box below, whether you love it, hate it, fall somewhere in the middle. As always, there's more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, and manvfilm.com, always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.